148th Street was my godmother's house.
Okay.
And I would go up there on like the weekends. And there was a model place. When I came from Cuba, I didn't speak good English, so I was ashamed to talk.
Okay.
So I would just get fucking models and build stupid fucking models of ships and Superman.
Yeah.
And every day I would go down to that model place, and there was always a skinny guy outside, you know, like, hey kid, are you gonna go inside? Can you get me a tube of glue? And one day the dude said it to me. He goes, don't get that fucking guy glue. He snorts it. And I'm like, snort it? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm like 5 or 6. I don't hablo. What the fuck are you talking about? So then I caught him one day. We were taking out, my godmother owned 3 buildings on 148th Street and Broadway. And I was helping her take the trash out. And I caught him behind the garbage can, huffing.
Yeah.
But when his name was Charlie. I go, Charlie. And he went like this. The bag stuck to his hand. He couldn't get rid of the bag because the glue had been on his hand in the bag. So we started calling him Sticky Charlie. Right? So I figured he would get a check from the government every month because he got hit in the head with like a missile in Vietnam. Yeah. So then that government check, this motherfucker would go to a glue place and buy a case of it and then spend all the money. And I still remember, he lived like on 148 between like Broadway and Amsterdam. Yeah. And we would walk to his house and he'd be having glue parties in the basement with a bunch of glue hoes. This is before crack came on the scene. There were glue hoes, right? So I went to my mom one day and he had a hard time buying glue. He would always have a hard time. Let's say the glue was 25 cents in those days, just a tube. Yeah. Nobody would sell him glue. So I told my mom, let me borrow 20. I'm going to buy a case of glue and pimp this bitch out.
So that's your first mark?
That's my first mark. I started hitting.
How old are you? You're 5 years old?
Sticky Charlie, 6, 7. Wow. I'm selling glue to Sticky fucking Charlie. And I'm hanging out. I'm living on 88th Street.
Yeah.
And what? Right there, right? 88 and Broadway.
And Broadway, okay.
I lived on 205 West 88th Street, and I went to PS 166. And fucking, that neighborhood was okay. Yeah. Like, they were like white kids that were okay, you know? Yeah. Like, I had like a Chinese girlfriend. Her father worked for Schulz. You know, the dude who fucking draws.
Charles Schulz.
Charles Schulz. He was a Chinese, so we would go to movie theaters, and they closed the movies in New York City. Another guy in my building was the producer of Beatlemania. So we went to see Beatlemania's kids, like a rehearsal. It was a great neighborhood, but 148th Street was a way better fucking neighborhood. Yeah. They had Puerto Rican kids,
it was more
Irish
fun.
Kids, Jewish kids, and they were all dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone was dirty. Nobody was clean. In fact, I used to dress down when I went up there. Yeah. Because I didn't want them feeling bad. I'm a West Side kid. Yeah. I got my own air conditioner in my room. Yeah. These guys live in 8 to a room with a fucking fan on, with sheets on at night. So I would dress down. I would put holes in my pants. Wow. I would put like money in my back. But these kids were hustlers. They were already shaking down the neighborhood.
Really?
Like, they had like 2 blocks that they would go into and say, listen, we want to take your garbage out, clean the windows, sweep. No, we break the fucking windows. These kids were already young, and they were anywhere from 6 to 10.
So okay, real quick, back up. You catch your first mark. Is your mother proud?
My mom don't fucking know.
I thought you're like, yo, give me $20.
I needed to buy glue for models. I'll pay you back. I didn't tell her I was fucking.
So where do you get in your head, like, I could take advantage of this situation?
Just because he's fucking fucked up. He's a boss.
Would she be upset, or you think she'd be like, okay?
Nah, she would have giggled about it. Like, Antonio, what the fuck are you doing? You can't be selling glue.
Yeah.
You know,
but you talk about no childhood. No 6-year-old is going to see a business opportunity at 6 years old. Yeah. No, that's a grown-ass thing.
No child today.
Yeah, okay.
The other day, my daughter got in the car after kickboxing, and she goes, do I have an Uncle Julio? And I go, yeah, you got an Uncle Julio, Julio Rodriguez. And she goes, when did I meet him? And I go, you met him when you were like 4 up north. He owns a jiu-jitsu school in North Bergen. Okay. I go, remember we went up there? She's like, oh, yeah. I go, how is he your cousin? I go, well, our parents were bookies. Yeah. And me, Julio, and his brother, Guillo, who they used to call Sandwich, because he was a fat kid. Like, when we were 8, they used to just call him Sandwich. They just gave up on him. Like, his name is Sandwich. And I said, you know what? I'll let you know. And I just called Julio, and I go, talk to him. I go, Julio, tell her what we used to do on Saturdays when we were kids. And Julio's told her. We go to the Bronx. We were like 8. We go to the Bronx and run numbers. And they pay us $50 for the day. And we would be on the street corners just taking numbers from people with a fucking adult watching us. 3, 4 kids, and then we'd have to run errands, go get coffee, cigarettes. But that's what we did.
50 a day back then is crazy money.
$50 on a Saturday?
Even now, it's
you know how
crazy.
many fucking Bruce Lee movies I could go to and shit?
You know how much glue you can buy for $50? I mean, you're living.
Who was doing
Child
security when, like, who was collecting the money for your mom and the other girl if, you know, the guys didn't want to pay up?
No, they always pay. It was like $1, you know, like $2.15 for $1, $3.10 for $2. The biggest bet you had was like maybe $5 in those
So there was
days.
nobody they had to worry about not paying?
No, because it was all a community. It was a neighborhood.
Got you.
And
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? You're going to beat me for $5. You're going to get a beating in those days for the $5. It's not like now. In those days, for $5, you got kicked or something. Somebody threw a bottle at you or something.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't put any more bets in. So it was simpler.
Oh, yeah, you were fucked. You still want to be part of this community. You still wanted to
you want
bet.
to be part. That's part
It was
of
a bigger
in
punishment
Harlem,
to be
in the
kicked out.
Bronx, in Brooklyn. That's what keeps those people alive.
But who would your mother go to give the beatings, or would she give the beatings herself?
What do you mean?
Like, for
Like
the
if
people
somebody didn't want to pay.
Oh, no. Nobody really, like in my world, gave you a beat. But there was bookmakers that did give you a fucking beat,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like to $5, whatever it was. Like they'd smack you, you know?
Yeah.
Shit like that. Nonsense.